Okay, folks, good morning. Got off to maybe a 20-minute head start over yesterday. And we're going to go ahead and take that time to put this stuff away. Because as you can see, I've accumulated a clutter of things here. Yeah, look at this guy all the way over here. Yeah, let's get this stuff out of order, back into order a little bit. And we'll get to painting. My system works pretty well, holding the paints. It's kind of a low-cost system. The only thing I don't like about it is that when you have a situation like, make sure I get this out of the mount or we're going to have a different issue on our hands. We should be good there. All right. When we do something like this, they're the right depth. But sometimes, I'm not sure if it happens if there's not a lot of of these things on there, but sometimes they get twisted, and it's kind of a pain. Let me see if I can show you guys. Sometimes it's difficult to get, not necessarily one of them out, but they just misbehave a little bit. So. Anyhow, I want to get this one out or whatever. Hey, look, it's this little guy from Eureka. Black goes up here. I got that bin really reserved for the standard colors. Two browns over here. And light blue. Okay, I think we got this a little bit more reasonable now. Let's put this here. Mr. Gert, good morning. Yeah, I noticed when I made the description here a little while ago, Russian painting. Well, it means we might end up working on those guys. No, I'm not. And not because I don't want to work on them. I just want to get these guys done so we can talk about what the next army is going to be. I can do the reveal, the gender reveal of my next army. Okay, let's put this stuff out of the way. Started a little earlier, not because I woke up any earlier, but because I've got some online games. Hello, Dirk. Welcome. Good evening. No, don't take my Sunday away. I need it. We started a little earlier because I've got some online games I'm going, and I didn't do the turns that weren't time sensitive. So we could get off to an extra 20-minute head start. Maybe we can get 2 guys done today. We will see. I hope so. And let's go back to the flip side. All right. And let's go ahead and put, see, I need to refresh this. There we go. Make sure my volume's down. It wasn't. I have hopes that sometime in the near future, I will be able to have an internet worth a damn at home, and then maybe I can get some camera equipment so we can do this in a little bit better resolution than you guys are able to see. This phone can do 8K, but the fact that it is not hardwired keeps it dumbed down a little bit more than I would have liked. But it is what it is. At least we're able to get online. It's a shame because I've got a full 5G signal, which is, yeah, all bars, which is faster than most people have. Although I've had 5G now for almost a year, and I don't know if it's any faster. It just seems like you have access to bandwidths that not everybody is on. Welcome, Mr. Cog. Hello. All right, so this is what we have so far on our Russian project. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I need 7 more to go, and I've already started on the 7th one. Here's the candidates. These are all Merleton figures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is who these guys are. So let's get it on. All right, now this guy is similar to another figure, meaning the pose of the rider is the same of this one. So we're making sure that we're not using a light colored horse. We're making sure that we don't use red strapping. He has a round shield as opposed to a almond shaped one. I guess that would be a kite shape, but unless they have that symbol that's almost like a U or U-like, I don't call them a kite shield. This is more like an almond shield, Norman style shield, and he's blonde. So this guy might end up being blonde as well, just because so you have the contrast against the horse. But we need to do some chainmail on this fellow. Let me try something a little different. I'm gonna keep my glasses on, but look over them, and that way I don't have to take them on and off. And boy, they are filthy. Since I'm apparently old, I've been told. I don't feel it, but I got my first pair of bifocals. I don't use glasses out and about. I wear contacts. I always have, and glasses just at home. But I got my first pair of bifocals, and when I went to the prescription place. They're like, well, if you have trouble using these, you know, if you have trouble using these things, you can bring them back, and because I had no trouble using them. What they didn't realize is I spent on my last pair of glasses probably the last 3 years putting them on the tiptoe of my nose and looking down them anyways. So yeah, these things work well. They're better for as much as they cost. I couldn't believe how much glasses cost, and I don't have no designer frames or anything like that. They're expensive, but they last a while too, and you use them every day, so not that big a deal. But I don't paint through them. I'm painting with my naked vision, built-in nearsightedness. So, where did we leave off on this guy? It looks like we got these trappings done. Well, that didn't last long. I'm just going to take them off. Okay. We've got little bolt-on things to put on there, little rivets. Okay. The shield. Oh, we go ahead and do the shield in white because that's going to take some time to dry. So we can put a decal on there. Where are my things here? Get the magic liquid, also known as Vallejo airbrush thinner. I wonder if other people's airbrush thinner is the same. I was really impressed with this stuff. And considering I'm never going to have an airbrush, I'm pretty convinced not going to. I've messed around with a cheap one recently, and I know it's a cheap one, and a better one would be better. And I've used a better one, but 30 years ago, I had one I could borrow. I don't want to spend the time cleaning it. And no matter how careful you are, you make a mess. And I'm I never make a mess when I paint. Uh-oh. Assuming I don't spill something. All right, we're just going to cover this thinly. And we'll come back a little bit more later. I don't want it to get lumpy on here. What'd somebody say? What we got here? Just stopped in to say hi. Have to take the bicycle out for a spin now. The weather is nice up here in the cold north. Well, I'll take the cold. I don't want that dryness though. But hey, I've been riding a bike every day too, but it's been indoors and it doesn't move. So I've successfully done that 6 days in a row. So that's good. Got to do something. That's about the easiest thing to do. So. If you don't have time to go in there for, I was going to say air conditioned room, you get on that thing, you don't think it's air conditioned. That's like those people that do CrossFit, okay? That would never be me. And the whole reason is because they do it outside. And I'm outside for work all the time. And I can't stand it. So I'm not going to volunteer to do that. Like, why can't I, get my exercise on in somewhere that's, not a sweat box? But I do like being outside when the weather's nice, which is for about a week here. Nah, it's all right, but you got to go to the beach. You got to stay wet. All right. Good. All right, we'll come back to Yuri or whatever this guy's name is. Let's go ahead and dry brush him. Let's clean this. Oh, I moved my water over here. All right. Metal corner over here. And let's get how these brushes multiply. Yeah, I think we'll have to use this one. Now, this is what happens with a wet palette. There was paint here, and it's separated between the water and the actual pigment. So you kind of have to mix it back in. And it doesn't happen fast. It's like overnight. So it's not like, hurry up and use it before it separates. You know? No, it's not one of those things. All right. Let's dry brush his chainmail. I don't know why I didn't do this earlier, but I didn't. It's only on his upper torso. Where is this other guy? Here he is. Okay. Done with that. Uh-oh. It's 59 degrees here. I'd be out too. Yep, good call. So nice and warm? I guess. I mean, it's not cold, but I'd be out in 59-degree weather. Or 49, even better. And with my indoor job from home, I prefer the outdoor bike above the indoor bike in my office. Yeah, you're indoors all day. I could see that. I'm outdoors. I'm in and out a lot. So I never have to worry about getting a tan on my arms. You know, I'm always out checking things Monday through Friday. So, oh, I didn't take my meds. Taking meds section. Oh, I don't want to forget that. All right, good. Right. This guy has a spear that is going to get in the way of damn near everything, but I've got a saddle down there, so we'll get to the saddle before that. Let's make his main coloring of him. This guy happens to be blue. Yeah, so we won't use blue on him. We're going to use let's see, his arms are a different color. Let's use, I probably should put the shield on there to figure out how that ties in. All right, well, let's trim up the white then. This is how I go about things. I don't necessarily have a sequence that I have to go in. Make sure this goes all the way to the lip. Okay. Okay. We'll let that dry, which shouldn't take long. It should take, I don't know. You know what? While we're doing that, because this is going to kind of set the pace of the whole thing, let's look at the shield, what my shield options are. Obviously, it's a round one. Let's see what we got here. Oh, I like them all. Except maybe this one. Purple, orange, a bit much. So let's see what else we have here. Thank you. Let's not use this one or that one. It's a little too plain. This one doesn't look like a whole center really well. Let's use this one over here because that way I can cut this little end off and that's out of my life. All right. The X-Acto knife. And make sure we get, this is the one that's in better shape. All right, let's go ahead and take that off. Okay. Let's go ahead and clean up the center if we can. Okay. I said I probably wasn't going to use these shields again because I enjoy painting shields. One more. All right, we're good now. Because I enjoy painting shields, but if I ever get around to doing that Pyrrhic army, it's going to be hard to resist doing the having some of those shields from Little Big Man Studios that have the M's, the M symbol there for Pyrrhus's army. But we'll see. It's not like I can't hand paint M's; they just wouldn't be as detailed as some of those things are. Which, to be honest with you, these shields are more detailed than the real ones would be. Not like I haven't mentioned that a million times. Okay, we'll cut that across there. And then we'll do the same here. And then we'll do the same here. I could have painted more yesterday, but man, I just get to the point where I don't want to paint anymore unless I'm hanging out with you guys or you guys are hanging out with me. It's pretty solitary activity, and I know I'm going to do this in the morning anyways. So I think yesterday about like 8:40 p.m. I was like, I could paint, or nah, I'm not going to start painting now because it's what I'm going to do when I wake up anyway. So okay, I think we're good with that. Where's my tweezers? we'd like to get the shield, the cross semi-vertical if we could. Doesn't have to be perfect. But I'd rather it not be like a figure X if it could be avoided. Rub this down. Then we'll get our water. And just rub the water on the back side of this piece of paper. There you have it. It turned out pretty well. It looks kind of glossy and all like weird and stuff, but once you seal it, it'll look good. Huh. Okay. Sip of coffee. All right. Now, what's down here in the nether regions that you can't get to? Oh, his whatever clothing he's gonna have. All right. What if I did like a dark red for his clothing? Maybe I don't want to introduce any red to that. We'll do his pants red, but his shirt, the big thing, we'll do some off-white color. Let's do that. Okay. Let's come over here. And this one should be fine. Do I have a light blue? Oh, that last guy did with a light blue. Yeah, let's not do that. Let's have a little bit of variety. You know what? Put this. Let's do this. This is actually a pretty versatile color. This green sky. This is like the color. If you guys do any naval, this looks like Western approaches green. All those cool Commonwealth destroyers. I like to say British. I don't want to be dissing into the Allies. We know they played an important part. So, Commonwealth destroyers in World War II. All right, let's get this here. All right. Let's paint him all up in these colors here. Why is this cockeyed? There we go. Okay. Half the fun on some of this is like, okay, where does this piece of clothing start and end? It's easier to tell on some manufacturers more than others. Generally, Merleton is not an issue with that. Aha. I see a spot I missed. Good morning from Mars. What's the Mars greeting? I'll shoot you with my space modulator. There's some things that stick with you as a kid, from being a kid. And one of them is that one scene with the Mars buddy where they're running around all those ramps. And and Marvin pulls out a gumball machine, and it was instant aliens, and he puts one drop of water, and it's like, it went from nothing to, had those big bird-like aliens that chased him around. Good stuff. Good stuff. I always liked those. I always liked those cartoons so much more. I don't watch them as an adult, but I like them so much more than the Disney cartoons. I think those Looney Tune things were hilarious. I don't think they play them nowadays. People might get the panties in a wad, but whatever. My favorite character of all those is definitely the bull. That bull was awesome. That's one of my favorite episodes. I believe it's called A Bull for Bugs. I believe that's what the name of that episode is. It's like from 1940 or 41 or something like that. It's super old. I could be wrong. It may not be that old, but yeah. Good stuff. All because John Carter showed up. Look what happened. I never got around to seeing that movie. I know that it was a mixed bag, but I wonder if the people that didn't like the movie didn't know what the movie was about, didn't know that it was Victorian science fiction. I don't know. I may see it and didn't mind it. My favorite Victorian movie of all time. Well, there's many of them that are good, but the one that I think of that's old is the original Time Machine from 1960. I loved that movie as a kid. Except for the stuff in the future. That was, but the part where he, I thought that was a really cool movie, you know. I think that I saw the remake too, and I didn't care for the remake. The old one's the one that's good. The green is the same as on Earth, but we don't wear masks. Nice. Can you guys taking any volunteers? That sounds like a better place to live. Oh man. I'm fine if you want to wear a mask. I wear one when I need to. And I thought about this the other day. I just don't understand why somebody would use your picture with a mask as a profile picture. I mean, it's almost like you enjoy wearing one. Um, yeah, no Elton John either. Okay. I haven't gotten around to seeing that movie either. Um, my daughter saw the Queen movie and she loved it. So I figure she'd probably like the Elton John one as well. But it's hard for me to watch TV. Um, just sit there and just have things. It's a little too, I don't know. I don't enjoy it very much. Unless it's something really captivating or all right. What am I painting? You almost said that you almost typed that in an Asian dialect. What you painting? Russians. We have Russians. We have some Russian collusion here. 8 Russian knights, and this will be the 9th one. And then when we get to 15, we get to base them, and then we get to talk about the next army. I don't know. That's like a month away. I don't know if I can keep my. Oh, I don't know if I can keep it under wraps that long. I am running a big risk. I am running a big risk of doing an army that Coruscant does not have specific figures for. And if those guys end up coming up with figures for this army after I'm done with it, I might just have to march up to New York State and say something to them. I'm your late night TV. Well, we need better guests on here, you know. Speaking of late night TV, I never watched any of them because I don't really care for any of the people. But I missed seeing the Scottish dude. The Scottish dude is extremely entertaining. Can't remember what his name is now. He's not on anymore. I can't remember anymore because it seems like that's the thing I do now. I remember things I just can't remember. I mean, I've seen 20, 30, 40 of his episodes on reruns on YouTube, but he's extremely entertaining. And I think the reason he's entertaining is that he doesn't talk to his guests about things that people normally talk to his guests about. So, you know, I mean, why have somebody on there that's a movie star and talk about their movies? Yeah, you can go out and watch the damn movie, you know? It's still ask them about, personal stuff usually. So you never know where he's going to go or who he's going to hit on or Craig Ferguson, that's what his name is. No, not Bill Connolly. Bill Connolly is extremely difficult sometimes to understand. And I don't mean that ugly. I just mean he's got a heavier accent. No, Craig Ferguson. Craig Ferguson's extremely. I have watched. I didn't know that he has a talk show. That Connolly has a talk show. I know he has a stand-up, but I don't catch that stuff live because it's at times that I'm asleep. You don't watch television. You're not missing anything. You're really not. There's some things that are okay worth watching, but most of it is just, you know, I think reality shows ruin television. This idea that this is real, but it's staged. That's like another form of like wrestling. You dislike Hollywood. Yeah, I think everybody does. People that do like television because somehow their heroes are TV stars. And I've mentioned this before. I don't think I have any heroes. And it certainly wouldn't be people in Hollywood. I'll admit, There's things I'll watch because certain people are in them because they're easy on the eyes. I'm not going to lie to you, but and there's some things that are there is some television that's particularly good. It could be better, but there's some television that's particularly entertaining, and but it's very few and far between. So I know people that when they come to visit the house, they are TV addicts, and that's all they do all day long and watch television. And I could see painting all day long, but sit there and watching no, I that was never me. I'd much rather play video games all day long because at least you're making decisions, you know. Okay, so we're done with that. We said we were going to give this guy red pants. We're not going to do that because this guy's going to be all like crazy quilt all over the place. I'm going to give him the old white pants. That way he knows when it's time to change them. Hey, he needs a. This guy looks like a guy that needs a clue. Communists? No, no, not those kind of Russians. Ugh. Reminded me. I think I brought it up the other day. Somebody got my. Was it Wednesday or Thursday or something like that? I was on the internet and somebody almost got me going, but I don't get baited into things. Like if I see something I don't like, I just go the other way. But some guy made a post on one of the forums that I follow, and I'm like, huh, this guy's got a Spanish last name. I wonder where he's from. And then he had a little Cuban flag on his thing. I'm like, oh, okay, so maybe he's Cuban. But he's like based in Russia. And you go to his page, and everything on there is like pro communist stuff. And I'm like, okay, I got to step away from this guy because, I, it's a good thing I don't have connections. Let's put it that way. I'm like, nah, I gotta, as I don't argue with people because you're not gonna change anybody's mind. You know, my time's worth more than that. But yeah, I don't argue with communists. That doesn't mean I won't play them in a game, though. I mean, looks like I missed a level of this, and I'm wondering what color I used to do that. It looked like I may have just been white. Let's do this. Let's come in here and that's what it was. This totally looks like the same color. All right, we just need to lighten this up a little bit. There we go. I probably ended with this in an evening, and I'm like, oh, okay, let me get through this. Speaking of Speaking of communists, I got to tell this story. I got to tell this story. This is a classic one. There's at least 8 people, 7 people watching. I got to tell this story. So this happened to me like 2 years ago, and I'll give a little background information so you know where I'm coming from. So my dad came from Cuba in 1960, He was he was the first person in his family that ever went to college. So it's not like we were plantation owners in Cuba or anything like that. And he was the first one to go to college, and he knew what was coming. So him and my mom and my sister, I think that was it. Maybe his mom too. Anyways, they basically left Cuba with like they had to like hide their wedding rings, and that was it. It was like their chance to get out, and they just got out, and he started over in this country. Basically, he was a civil engineer, and he never we never lived in Miami. He went to Palo Alto, California for a few years. He worked out there, and then Kansas State, and I think he got another degree in Purdue. And we came to this town because he ended up teaching engineering in the University of Florida. But anyhow, he always remembered where he came from, but there was nobody that loved this country more than him. And fortunately, I was born here, so I didn't have to go through all that stuff on there. But we're vehemently anti-communist. That doesn't mean we're pro other things that are vehemently anti-totalitarian. Let's put it that way. So, of my dad's generation, that was pretty much how things were. I mean, there was no. I mean, if you were Cuban, especially if you lived in Florida, you were you loved this country. End of story. And they I run into a fair number of Cuban folks that have come over recently. That they come over here work, and a lot of them are truck drivers or what have you. That's how I encounter them. And my dad, he learned a language here. He didn't know how to speak English, but he learned how to language. But you have a certain group of people now that don't want to learn at all, and it's fine to speak both languages. I don't speak to my mom at all in English. It would be weird. I never spoke to my dad in English. It was extremely weird to do that. But they, I encountered this group of guys, and many years ago, because I've been doing what I've been doing, the same thing for going on 27 years now. I would encounter people that spoke Spanish, and I would go out of my way to kind of speak to them in Spanish because that way I get to practice and what have you. But more and more, I encounter these people that just they don't want to assimilate at all, or like the whole world needs to cater to them. Well, you kind of live in another country, but the big problem I have is my crew. You got to be able to speak the language of the country you're coming to, or at least make an attempt. It's not like you're going to be out giving a presentation. But so I encountered this guy like 2 years ago, and he's a Cuban driver. And I what I found is I've started dealing with them in English because they start using it as a crutch and never want to learn. And I can't go out and translate every single thing for everyone, for the crew and stuff like that. So if they're not going to put the effort to learn, and these are people that don't work for us, they're contracted, we don't know who we're going to get when they pick up a load kind of thing. And this guy in particular, he said, "Oh, you speak Spanish. You need to speak to me in Spanish." And I told him, "Listen, you need to learn a little bit, like up, down, go over here, where the bathroom, basic stuff so you can communicate with the loading crew." And this guy he flat out tells me in Spanish, he says, "I'm not interested. Fuck United States." And I'm like, "What?" And I'm like, I walked away from him. I'm like, I'm not dealing with this guy. First of all, I'm your customer. You don't say stuff like that anyways. And if you hate this country so much, then why are you even here? And I just feel like That would have never happened 40 years ago. You never would have had that kind of attitude with someone who is an immigrant and hates the country that they came to. It's okay to be an immigrant. We're all immigrants. And it's good to speak your native language, but if you hate this country so much, don't come here, you know? And it's not that this country's perfect, but yeah, that my dad wasn't alive when that happened. His head would have spun around if he would have heard that crap. But man, it pissed me off. So that's like I ended up banning that entire company. I don't care if they had 500 employees; they're not coming back here. If my boss would have heard that, his head would have exploded. It's okay to not like this country. You don't need to say stuff like that to your customer. You know, so we don't get to say things like that to our customer. So. For a change, I stopped painting figures and made two Airfix T-34 models for my World War II games. I refer to these as Soviets, not Russians. So I've World War II gamed forever. I've Eastern Front gamed forever. And I always call them Germans and Russians. I've never called them that Nazi tank, and I've never called them Soviet. I don't know why. I just never have. And that's not to whitewash the Germans. It's just I've just never called them that. I don't know. Yeah, I know what is Soviet. Soviet's really a word I don't use. I may slip and say Soviet, but I don't. Yeah, I don't. You know what we need? We need a Soviet version. There you go. I said it of the swastika flag. So the swastika always reminded me as a kid watching Sound of Music, right? The little girl refers to the Nazis as the crooked spider. So we need the crooked spider version for the red banner. What would that be? The broken spoon, the hammer and broken spoon. I never called them Soviets. I just never did. I don't know. Just maybe because I've gamed both world wars, and you would just have to refer to calling them Russians in the first one. I don't know. Not trying to whitewash anybody. I mean, we know both sides are bad. All right, let's get some more white out here. I had another guy that came in. This was before this other one. Same thing. He was an immigrant from Cuba, and he's like, "Oh, people think there's no justice in Cuba. There's no justice here. People get shot by the police and all kinds of things here." And I'm like, "Okay, dude. I mean, yeah, people get shot by the police, but that could happen everywhere." And if you rather live in Cuba than the United States, by all means, go back. I plan on never visiting, just a matter of principle. I mean, my folks left with, they couldn't bring anything with them, and they were lucky to be able to get out. Why would I volunteer to go to a place that did that to them? You know? And I'm only two generations Cuban. I might as well go to Spain, where great grandfathers came from. So I don't know. That's just my feeling. If people want to go, by all means, but we won't be going. But there's other places I won't go either. Hammer and sickle, red star, Soviet emblems. Yeah, but a cute name for, like the little German girls, like the little Austrian girl called it the crooked spider, as I like to call the swastika there. Not that Nazi stuff is cute, but you know. But my World War II gaming preferably is Eastern Front. I'd like to say is which bad guy do you want to be today? We'll give this guy some white pants. I'm wondering if I need to go down a brush size. I may have to do that. All right, we're gonna need to do that. If any Marxists got upset about that comment, or Nazis, well, the hell with them. They don't count anyways. You oppress other people, you don't get my sympathies. Sorry. I don't know if I'm gonna get around to doing any more World War II gaming anytime soon. I just want all that detail that it has, and it just basically makes it unplayable. So that's all right. We played lots of it in the past, and there's other periods to play to learn more about. You know, and can always play computer games for World War II and just leave the tabletops to other periods if I really need to get my game on. After you've painted these armies that are colorful, or I should say non-uniformed, it's hard to go back to painting things that are uniformed. There's just so much variety. The sky's the limit with these guys. Boots. What color boots did this guy buy at the market? How about this one? All right, let's paint this guy's. Get in here and paint this guy's boots. So yeah, you're not going to catch me wearing a Che Guevara shirt. I'm also not going to wear a shirt with has German Panzer Division symbols on it either. All those things send the wrong message, folks. Unless that's the message you want to send, which is not a good one. So, I've seen somebody at a show that was wearing, I want to say they were wearing 1st Liebstandarte Division, just a black shirt with the symbol on it. I'm like, no. Nope. Not good. Now, I'll play those rat bastards in a game and try to win with them, but that's a game. I'm not wearing their iconography on my shirt, you know. That's bad form. Nobody should have to tell you that that's a bad idea. Okay, I think it's time to do this guy's spear. Yeah, we'll use this one. Why not? Why not? How the hell is it almost 7? Jeez. Time flies when you're painting figures, right? Time flies when you're painting little dudes. I don't see any point in painting all these pieces first and then assembling them later, because what I really don't want to do is paint something small like this, I have nowhere to hold it. And when I do glue it, finally get it, oh, wrong one. When I do get around to gluing it, there is some of the glue showing where I glued it, and then have to repair that. So I don't want to get into that. So I can pretty much reach anywhere that I can see, and it's not worth adding another step for me. If that works for you, the way you're doing it, just keep doing what you're doing. I'm I'm a big fan of freedom. You like doing what you do and you don't hurt anybody, do it. You know, if you go to the face page of DBA, you don't like DBA, don't go on there and say, oh, this game sucks. You guys need to be playing Armati. It's okay to say that you play Armati, but, you know, don't go to somebody's house and take a dump on the doorstep. You know what I mean? All right. Let's give the one more level of color to this spear, make it pop a little bit, maybe two. And probably time to do the face then. Give this guy a facial. All right, now we got to go up another one. We got to go. That's not satisfactory. So the other thing is, since I paint so thin, my colors are almost semi-transparent, so they blend in better between one color and the next. Or they fade in better between one and the next. I don't know. I just like it. That's how I've always done it. I mainly did it so that the paint up gets applied smooth. You don't. It's not all gritty and lumpy, and the side, the 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 extra advantage that that allowed was just that they would be transparent between one and the other. Okay, I think we're good with that. We still have some metal over here in the corner. We'll go ahead and do a spear point, this lance point. You've been painting 28 millimeter. My technique is different to 28 as opposed to 15s. Mine would be too. it would take, it would be called taking forever. Used a brown primer for 28s and a black for 15s. Interesting. Okay. Spray primer or you hand painting? Let's, do we have any of this alive or did it die on me? It's dead. It be dead. Spray, okay. What's in the contact case? Aha. Have to go now. Happy Sunday, all. Okay, you too. Contact case is this stuff right here. Vallejo airbrush thinner. It's I'm using that instead of water, not for cleaning the brushes, ironically, but to it thins the paint down and it keeps the paint from sticking to the brush. It's just pure accident. I found it. I had to try to find a use for all this airbrush thinner that I had when I was transferring over these colors. I did it one time and just figured it wasn't worth my time, and I spent $20 on this airbrush thinner, about how much it was, I think. So I'm glad I did that because I never would have discovered this stuff, and yeah, really fallen in love with it. So no, I've never tried flow. I do I have a flow aid? I think I do. This stuff works better than that. I have flow. Yeah, I bought a bottle of flow aid when I was doing like painting flags and stuff. But this works even better. It's amazing. I don't know what the hell is in it, but so the first thing it does is if you go and put if this was water and you dip your brush in there with different colors, eventually it will change into the color of the paint. So in other words, just like if you use your rinsing water, if you went and rinse something black, you put some black in there, all of a sudden it's tinted black, and anything else you would grab would have that black color as well. This, for whatever reason, the paint doesn't stick to itself, and it's it feels like saline solution almost. It's almost lubricated. I don't know. I don't know what it. I don't. It's amazing stuff. So I've I had to. I've only used very little of it, but I would buy this again and again for sure. So, but it was a fluke, you know. Used your ide. Oh, idea for a core color. Nice results. Good. I'm not a color person, so I don't. I may say hue when I mean tint, but you get the idea what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's like a number line. You know, what do you want your main core color to be? This. Okay. Start adding black. So you add a lot more black, less black, a little bit of black, this, and then start adding, usually white. Sometimes you can use yellow or maybe even, another lighter thing to go along with it. And I've had good results with that. The who are the people that do the Games Workshop paints? Foundry. The Foundry system wasn't around back then, but I just think three colors isn't enough for me, especially with faces. I don't mind doing the faces from scratch, and you're about to see me do one. So let's go ahead and get my usual suspects. Yeah, a long time ago when people started doing the faces with three colors, it was a lot of this stuff looks like meat cutting charts to me. which, if you like that, that's good. It's just not my type of thing. All right, so we're going to get our red leather and sunny skin tone. Oh, try that. Lots of airbrush. Yeah, give it a shot. It's Somebody explained it to me that you can thin the paint and it doesn't wash away the particles. So I don't know. Try it. I was really impressed. I don't know what the hell it's made out of. I don't care. I don't care that it cost $20. I use so little of it. So the reason I got it was I wanted to take my Games Workshop metal paints and put them in these eyedroppers so that it makes less of a mess. But the problem is to get all the paint out, you have to thin it and then bring it over here. And in doing so, it makes a mess because it drips out too fast. So I'm never going to do another one. But it made me buy this, which I saw in one of the videos that somebody used. And it was, thank you, Mr. Man, that showed me how to do this. I don't remember who it was. It was somebody on YouTube to transfer them over. But I'm still using that metal paint. It's just a lot more thin than I would have liked, you know. But yeah, that's good stuff. And they make it in a small eyedropper. So if you don't have that stuff, it comes in this size also. So get you some of this and give it a shot. And if it works, then hey, that's something else. You can always improve. Maybe you won't like it. That's okay. You don't have to like it. If you don't like how I do things, then you do them your own way. you know, Freedom is always in style and it always fits. So let's get a little smaller brush to do the main coloring. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some black here. I've done this a million times, but maybe some of you guys haven't seen it. I don't know how I came up with this mix. I just did. I've been doing this mix for, I don't know, a long time. 20 years, maybe longer. We got some black. We got this color here. And then this is the color that we're going to apply all over every fleshy part of him. Trying to avoid the beard because it's just a waste to do that. And then his hand. All of his fleshy bits. Okay, that's a beard. Yeah, like I said, there's no point in me keeping all this stuff to myself. I'm never going to paint for money. The money's not there. And nobody in my family paints. And hey, I learned some few things. Maybe I could pass something on to some of you guys. This is a very, we'll use elite group of people that do this type of hobby. So, no point in not sharing. So we just added more of the core color. And now we're going to leave this original color in, like, for instance, in between the fingers, that sort of thing. Ideally, you want to leave a little of the original color around the edge. That's not always the case, but that's almost always the case in the way I like to do it. And also, if I was doing more of a Middle Eastern type skin, I would start adding the sunny skin tone now, as opposed to waiting until I'm doing this. So here, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. Now, you don't want this too thin because I don't want this to go back into the recesses between the fingers, or everything I did was a waste of time. Let's see if we can. Oh, really? You're gonna fall on the floor? It's a weekend. I'm not supposed to bend over. That's only Monday through Friday. All right. Let's see what we got here. Okay. And kind of a misshapen hand a little bit, but hey, it's better than I would have sculpted. What if a lot of these sculptors can't paint? Wouldn't that be ironic? Okay. I'll do a little bit here. All right, now we're going to take this color, which is straight this, and then this is not normally how I only do this with flesh consistently, where I'm adding two different colors, because this isn't necessarily a lightener. This just changes it into a more flesh type of color. So now we've got this color here. Now we're going to do the same thing. Sorry, this is cockeyed a little bit. Cockeyed or cockeyed? Yes. It's very subtle. And then we're going to add more of this. I don't want to go all the way up to this color. I want to go just short of it, because then we're going to add white. A little bit. A little bit. Obviously, the closer you get to his helmet, the less of that you're going to do of that. Again, it's very subtle. Okay, now we're going to grab, where's Mr. White? And believe it or not, this is one of my favorite things to do, because this brings this guy up to brings him to life. Okay, let's see what we got here. And crappy 720 resolution. Let's zoom this out a little bit. There we go. I'll bring them close. God, it washes it out so much. Hold on. It actually looks better here. Not better, like more accurate. Still. Where's the focus point? Is it over here? There we go. No, Yuri or whatever his name is. Okay, that's it. That's faces are easy. I'd probably do them the same in 28s. So been paying 20 plus years, can always learn something new. We all can. Okay, your name is written in Greek, so I'm going to struggle with saying your name. If I say it wrong, I apologize. But it looks like it's Nikos Nick. Hello there. May I make an irrelevant question? No. When will DBA RRR version 3 be ready? It won't be. I am not making an RRR compatible with 3.0. At some point in the future, I may do a Renaissance version, but it will not be RRR. It will be its own thing. It will be a DBA size game, but COVID kind of killed it for me. I just don't, there's just too much arguing that happens. I don't want that to, I don't know. I don't know. So my heart's not there right now. So, but there's never going to be an RRR version for 3.0 because there's too many things in that modification that were just kind of shoehorned in so that they may work for all the periods. You can't do early Italian wars and have the flavor of early Italian wars and the 30 Years' War in the same rule set. It's just not going to work. So if I get around to doing it, my focus would be to make it work for the 1500s. I'm not so worried about the 1600 stuff. It's just not, that's not where my love is. But no time soon. You'll know when I'm working on it because I'll start painting stuff for that period, but no time soon. It's just, I've done a lot of brainstorming. I've got some, I think, good ideas. It'll be a different game, but it'll still feel like it's the same. But, you know, the main difference is, you've got like a unit like a tercio. A tercio will be one stand. It's now that stand may be the size of like a camp, but it's still going to be one stand. Stuff like that. There won't be any conforming when you go into contact. I'm just not there yet. So it's a lot of work, and I don't have the time. Everybody seems to have time except me. So everybody that does hobby stuff seems like it. So no time soon. No time soon. Nah, I'm not gonna do bronze with this, but I already got the bronze, so let's go ahead and do his sword. I mean, I haven't played the 2.2 version since I think 2012. I think that's about right. But yeah, I'm not gonna put something out that's just crap. It was freaking awesome if I ever get around to doing it, but it's a lot of work. I'm gonna end up I have to do armies for both sides, so it's a ton of work and a ton of play testing, and it's not really what my love is. My love is paint figures. I mean, I like gaming, so I'm getting my game by just playing standard DBA, and I actually have a fear about it. I have a fear that it's not that I'm a genius by any level, but I've played a lot of DBA, so I kind of have a pretty good idea what works and doesn't. And there's some troop types that might have really good mechanisms that I may not want to use them. I might not want to play standard DBA 3.0 if I start playing them in this Renaissance, and the next thing you know, I stop playing standard DBA 3.0, and I don't want to go down that route. So I think I'm more valuable staying doing this. than splintering off and getting involved in other things. Sounds like a project for retirement. You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. And retirement is 20 years away. Less than 20, but somewhere around that. So, got to make sure we stay healthy until then. So, anywho, yeah. But I love that period. I mean, that's my favorite period, but that's my fear. I don't want to, for instance, have rules for say light horse that are freaking awesome, and I won't want to play light horse in 3.0 because honestly the rules for light horse in 3.0 kind of are lame. But I don't want to go changing things, etc. That's why I didn't want to play exclusively with 30-inch boards. Because if you play exclusively with 30-inch boards and then you go to a tournament where they run 24s, you feel like you're getting shafted. So it's better if you just let the attacker choose, and that way you play both sizes and you don't feel like, I mean, it's human nature to feel slighted when you're playing something like that. Like you couldn't get me to play DBA 2.2. There's no way I'm measuring all corners. There's no way 8 bow are going to behave the same as 4 bow. I'm just not interested in playing it. You know, there's no way that elephants quick kill spear, but not blades. That I've done years of that and had to deal with it. It's not a better game in my opinion. If you guys enjoy playing 2.2, by all means, continue to play 2.2. But I'm not interested. I would rather play Field of Glory on the computer. So, um, I think the game, if I make a game, we're going to make this guy blonde, by the way. Let's get a yellow for giving him some coloration. If I made a game that was DBA related, DBA is too difficult to conform and move, and that has too much geometry. And the combat is too simple. I would reverse the two. The moving needs to be easier to digest, but the combat could have more variables, you know. But I wouldn't be so worried about making it for a tournament play, more like for recreating actual battles. So you could have knights that are of different flavors, and it could be simple. It could be just as simple as, you know, say all knights are the same when they interact with other troop types. When they interact with other knights, you know, certain people's knights may win on ties or something like that. It doesn't have to be super complicated. It just needs to have a little bit more flavor. So, anyhow, just some brainstorming. Yeah, I could just make a straight 3.0 conversion to Renaissance, but I'm never going to play it. So why even bother doing that? Um, my incentive to painting different units in this game is because I get to use them, and I want to use them because they behave differently than others, not necessarily because they're better or worse. That's why it doesn't make any sense to have, I mean, I have a certain style of army I prefer to play, but I don't want every one of my armies to be that type because otherwise, why bother painting more? You know, if I want every single one of my armies to have 4 bowmen or crossbowmen or longbowmen, then if only pick armies that have that composition, then why am I even bothering to build more? You know, they'll play the same. So, all right, let's lighten this up. Oh, I didn't do the back of his head. I forgot this guy's got a mullet of unusual size. But yeah, a project for retirement. That's well put, Jeffrey. Absolutely. You know, if I was more motivated to play other rules, I would give. There's two other rule sets I have that deal with combat in non-conforming situations, and one of them is Armati. I'm pretty sure there's no conforming in Armati, and no conforming in Impetus. And yes, this rules have issues that I may not like, but you know, every rule set can have some good ideas. So, like the pip mechanism is essential. That just, you have to have something in there so you can't do everything you can that you want until it's the other guy's turn. So whatever system you use, whether you put cards in the rule set so that it's like, okay, now side A can move 1 unit or side B can move 2 units before it refers back to the other guy's turn. Anything you can add in there that keep you from being able to do every single thing you want makes a good game. Obviously, as long as the other guy operates by the same rules. You don't want to handicap yourself, and the other guy has free roam on everything. But yeah, we enjoy those kind of games. We enjoy those kind of games where you can't do whatever you want, and you know, sometimes your troops had a heavy night of drinking, and this is why they're not moving. What am I saying? Troops had every night was a heavy night of drinking. But yeah, I wouldn't worry about an unrelated question. It's all good. Ask away. If I don't feel like answering, you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to answer. Like if you said, "Hey, what's your next army going to be?" I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you because in case I change my mind or, you know, it's difficult when you're interested in so many damn armies. It's not like, well, I just want these three. No. Been enjoying fire and sword rules. Lots of troop riding decisions. I wish it was 100 years earlier. There was a group. There was a big group of guys that were playing that in our Florida conventions, and they just kind of stopped doing it. I think the rules. I think it's the rules author. He would come and run some games. You know, and it's not that I don't like that period, but you know, if I'm going to play Renaissance stuff, I'm going to play French Wars of Religion. I'm going to play Italian Wars. I'm going to play Dutch Rebellion. That's what I'm interested in playing. I'm fine playing Poles and Russians and Ottoman Turks and all that stuff, but, you know, all right, we're going to say that these cheek pieces are also metallic on this. So let's go ahead and get in here and do that as well. Okay. And just for good measure, we are going to give this guy some Nuln Oil, although it's pretty much all smooth. It's going to be kind of wasteful. Maybe we won't do that. And I don't. I try to started using Nuln Oil on helmets that had like a either a ridge or some different, but this literally has a freaking cone on his head, so you could polish that pretty easy. Great Battles of History series board game has the best command and controllers for ancient. Old man's mini game by Emperor's Press called Ancient Empires comes close. I would enjoy playing a lot of those games. I just don't. I don't have the stomach to learn how to play a game and play it wrong that many times. Yeah. All right. Let me. Am I out of liquid? It's time to get more liquids. I'll be right back, folks. This guy's getting close to being done. Show you how he looks like with his beard and such. Ah, this light just washes everything out. Be right back. So the other thing to consider when you're doing a rule set is that it's going to look right. And what I mean by that is, how big do you make the units? Definitely want every unit to be one stand, but I don't know if I want any less than 8 figures on a stand because it's just not going to look right. And then if you make 8 figures on a regular stand, then what happens when you do like a Swiss keel? How big is that? At least 16, you know, or maybe even 24. So that's a lot of figures to freaking paint and a lot of rules writing to figure out. And I don't know. I just don't have that in me right now. You know, I may never do it, but that's kind of the core thing is, I want a Swiss pike block to be one stand. There's a Facebook group called, is it Early Renaissance Wargaming or something like that? And this one guy has it in 28s. He has a 24-man Swiss pike block in 28s, and they're all on one stand, and they look impressive. But that's a lot of painting. That's you have to do a you have to be creative on how you get the goop in between all the figures because you'll block yourself in. So it's almost like you have to start from one end and work back. The end result is awesome, but yeah, I definitely want it to look like the period, you know, and that's just a lot of work. That's a lot of work when, you know, it'll be a long time before I'm just enjoying doing the videos too much. And And that would put a damper on putting videos out too. So, all right, so we got a scabbard to do here. We can go ahead and do it in a leather-like color. It's safe to do that, I think. There's not any similar colors around it. That's going to all blend together. Oh, I never did find out what the name of that battle was that I was talking about yesterday. Ah, shit. We need to take a break. I gotta find out what the hell that is now. All right. Let's do this live. All right. All right. Let's go to Wikipedia. Not because there's that much wrong stuff, but I'll know exactly what battle is as soon as I see it. This is the one somebody mentioned the other day, Bovianum. Yeah, I don't remember which one it is. I'll have to find out what it is. But yeah, there's a battle. And for those of you that weren't here, is it Centium? It's Centium. Battle of Centium. That's the one I was talking about. So we were talking about yesterday about doing a battle with the Samnites and the Gauls on one side against a double Roman. And I couldn't remember what the name of the battle is. And it's the Battle of Centium. So, huh, all the references are off of Livy. Oh, that means it probably didn't happen that way. But that's the only thing we have. So, yep, it's Gauls and Samnites versus the Roman Republic. Yeah, Battle of Centium. Sentinum. There we go. Sentinum. That was the battle. For those of you that were wondering. Okay. There you have it. I knew it wouldn't take long. Hey, you surf around and you find things and you're like, oh, this is interesting. So yeah, play a four-player game where you got two Roman players and then a Gaul player and then the beloved Samnites, which I had fun playing them. They just hadn't won games. Well, they won their first one the other day, so I'll have to ask Mitch if he's ever won a game with the Saxons. It may be a case that he hasn't. The early Anglo-Saxons or Old Saxons, I think is what that is. Book 273, I believe, is what they are. Okay. Let's do the handle for this thing. I was starting to read Livy or have it read to me, and then unfortunately on Audible, the guy that does all the Livy stuff is there's one author that there's one narrator that I'm not going to do any more of his audiobooks. He is extremely difficult to listen to, and he unfortunately is prolific and does almost all of the ancient text type stuff with on there, and I can't deal with him anymore. He just mispronounces the hell out of things. So that and his his meter is really awkward. He'll take pauses when I wouldn't have. It's just very difficult to listen to. So that's the problem with Audible. Is there's a few texts that have more than one author, but almost all of more than one narrator. But usually you're stuck with whoever they decided to pick, and this guy's prolific. So okay, so there is a little bit of a saddlecloth there showing. I almost feel like this guy ought to have a red saddlecloth. Just to add a little pop of color there. I think we'll do that. And maybe we'll do dark red to not go a little too doing crazy, you know? Man, this coffee's strong. Okay, so do we have any of this red left, or do we need to remix it? I think it died on us. All right, let's remix this. Just use a different red. It's a little bit darker. What is this stuff? A challenge coin from Historicon 2018. Take the initiative. I guess whoever has this has the initiative in your game. Oh. Something I just collected. They give you 3 things in your goodie bag, and it's almost always something I can't use. They give you like a 28 millimeter figure that's like, okay, that's useless. So I usually end up giving it off to somebody else. Black dye again? Man. Let's see. There we go. Four likes. People like things more when I'm not talking so much. Perfect. Got it. I'm just messing with you guys. Yeah, but don't feel like you need to ask something that's off topic or whatever. That's like I said, if I don't feel like answering, I'm not going to answer it. But yeah, that wasn't off topic, by the way. And you didn't say I missaid your name, so maybe I said it correctly. Hey, I want to say people's names correctly, you know? Yeah, I don't know what that symbol is at the end of Niko, and I don't know what that symbol is, so I just assumed it was an S sound. So, yeah, I guess I didn't do too bad. Hey, like I like to say, I do better than most people. You can always strive for something. So speaking of Greeks, and I want to say Kevin said he wanted me to do a Greek army. I do. I have Athenians that I've started on, and Mitch gave me a Theban army that he won. But Mitch has all those guys. You know, it's not that I'm opposed to playing those Greek armies. I like them a lot. They suit my playing style. But we're not adding any value to the number of enemies that or battles we can do by me painting Greek armies. So unless they're Byzantine, and then yes, that's the case. John Peter, good morning or good afternoon for you. Must be playing with the grandkids this morning. Yeah, good to have you along. Or as they say in your country, you're late. You should pause about every 30 minutes, bring the model up close so we can see your paint blending progress. It's difficult to see from the range perspective. Okay, here we go. Let's kick all these Russians off this block because this is what we need to use to hold it steady. I could just do it. I have a computer, so I don't need to look at the screen. I could just do it like this, couldn't I? Let's see. Come on. Behave. Let's see. Could I just do it like this? Oh, that's going to block my light. That's no good. Let's see what we can do. Yeah, we'll bring them closer, but the shield looks shitty though, because it looks like it's the end of it. You can see it all like it looks like a decal, but that will go away. I had my doubts, but that will go away. Of course, the mane and the hooves aren't painted. The whole reason the hooves aren't painted is because I'm going to end up scuffing up the back of the hooves in painting the rest of it. So you might as well just do that last. But yeah, here's this little happy dude right here. Let's try to run it like this and see what kind of results we have. See, can I angle it sideways like this? How's that? That's got to be closer. No, no, no. Oh, I know what you mean. Can I do that? Let me think. I don't think I can. I don't think I can. I'll tell you what. Next time I do a video, because I'm extremely right-handed. So next time I do a video, we're gonna take this arm and we're gonna mount it on that side, and then we'll have the camera over here shooting this way, and yeah. Yeah. I'll return the model. Okay. Let's see. There we go. It actually looks pretty not glossy, which is usually the first problem you have with taking the pictures. It ends up looking glossy, but yeah. So we got the reins left to do on there. You like that, huh? Okay, good. Yeah, I'm working on I'm working on getting a good internet system so then we can have a camera and then we can do live and better resolution because my camera can handle anything. It just the house internet can. So almost black lining. I kind of am. I'm leaving the black in between stuff. I like the way black lining stuff looks, but I just feel like yeah, I'm kind of leaving the black line. And sometimes I will do stuff like see this guy right here. So let's look at his spear. And I'm like, you know what? That's not popping enough. So I'll just come in here and get some black. Well, where did the new black go that I put in here? Here we go. Let's get some black here. And let's thin it down. And let's put a hard line in between these two things to make it pop. But I don't go and put a black line in between this. I better not use something that has paint on it. I don't want, I could fix it, but why fix things? Why screw them up to begin with? Between, there we go. Between these two colors, I don't put that black line. I leave it. I guess I could paint it and it would look probably even better, but you know, God, I feel like I just take, but look at his face. I didn't paint any of the black lining. I just left the darker color underneath it and it turned out, in my opinion, really well. So yeah, I leave the line. I don't add it. Yeah, so I almost am black lining, and I've seen other people that actually do the black lining. Like for instance, the guys that oh that guy's in really he's in focus really well there. Cool. The guys who painted the stuff for Legio Heroica, whoever did the painting for that stuff, and I think he black lines as well. Those are some awesome. That's how you put painted figures on your site. Is the whoever did the Legio Heroica ones. In 15s. There's lots of examples of 28s where people do stellar jobs. It's just not my scale. Yeah. Yeah. These guys here, they're all done that same style. This guy's so ugly, he's gotta wear a face mask, right? And they look better after they're sealed. They look a lot better after they're sealed with the gloss coat. So, yeah. Yeah. Oh, I guess I am black lining. Okay, cool. That'll work. I try to leave a little bit of a black thing. Sometimes you don't, I feel like I don't want to do that, say, between facial features. But yeah, okay. Right. So we've got a bow case, a bow to do. The back of the saddle, the rest of the little red thing, and the mane, which I'm going to do something that I really don't like to do, which is to paint a mane that is in a similar color to the color of the horse. I don't like to do it because it just looks wrong when you do it. When you look at horses in real life, though, there are many horses that have a mane that is very similar in color to their skin. But if you get too close, it looks like you were lazy and only have two colors in your repertoire of paint or wanted to cut corners. So that doesn't usually work for me. But we are going to give him a brown mane on this guy. And right. So we're back at the red for the cloth. You black lined your 15 millimeter. Not easy with the. Well, since I've had to take my contacts out, I think my painting's gotten better. It's not that I couldn't see the small details. It's just that I'm just enjoying the figures a lot more. Like I'm noticing little, I don't know, I'm enjoying the sculpt job that these guys are doing because these guys really are wizards in their craft. I'm just doing paint by numbers with no numbers, you know. I don't know. Maybe I just don't think what I do is that big a deal because I've done it for 35 years. 35 years? Yeah, 35 years. Not to this level. No, no, this is, I'd say since 96. Since 96, 97, I've been painting at a level that I'm very happy with pretty consistently, except for my basing. The basing really took a turn with in about 2009, but shit, that was a long time ago too. Oh well. I'm getting old. It's better than not getting old. It's better than not living to get old. There you go. That's what I wanted to say. I don't think I'm going to be one of those people that if I ever get a chance to retire, I'm going to be bored. I just, you know, yeah. Do I have to use the bathroom again? Jeez, I should have worn a diaper. They make them in my size. Be right back. Okay. Hmm. Now, for instance, between fingers, I have a black line between different areas of material. I do. Yep. I don't know where I picked this up. I was before the internet. I mean, yes, there was an internet in 96. I didn't have it. I didn't have internet until, I didn't have my own computer until February 1999. And even then, it's not to the level that it is now. I think that the internet allows us to, as modelers, to bring each other along with, pass our information on. So there's not like a dark age, but I probably saw some variation of somebody's work, like say Kevin Dallimore or something like that, and just figured, well, if he's using three colors, I could probably use six. I don't know. I'm not sure where I got it from because these guys were done. These guys were done. You're going to make me pull out my 20s and pull out my old school stuff. These guys were done in that time period. Let's see if we can find a focus point in the same style. Now, the basing is I mean, I can't even stand it. Let's put it that way. But I didn't know any better. There wasn't, there weren't example of painted figures, But this was all done with, it's probably five or six different shades. This particular, his pants were actually done in a Games Workshop color. I want to say that's, I don't have it anymore. I don't remember what it is, but yeah, there's my Brits. These are all combat miniatures, Brits. And what I used to do back then is I used to seal them. These are the first figures I ever sealed. And I sealed them with 2 coats of semi-gloss because I figured the gloss actually gave them more color. But I realized it's not the semi-gloss. It's the fact that they get sealed. I don't know. It brings out more colors. So like I've flat coated this guy. He has the flat coat that I do afterwards, but this guy does not. So I need to go in there. I have them out here because at some point I'm going to rebase them just to see what they look like. But these are my some of my no, these are actually all of my bricks. I only have 4. Sorry, Commonwealth folks. I just hadn't gotten around to painting 4. But I love how they turned out. And yes, the colors are exaggerated a little bit. They're brighter than they would normally be. They're kind of a graphic novel type of look, which is what I like. But the basing is just ridiculous. And of course, all my guys have the surname on them. So we got Sharp, Campbell, and Duncan. This guy was Phillips. He was Corporal Phillips. And these are combat miniatures in 20 millimeter. My favorite sculptor ever, Dave Alsop. Wish he had lived longer to do more, but I absolutely love his style. It's not needed. Play more shading and watches, which was more fun. Yeah, good stuff. And I've got probably a platoon of Germans and squads of U.S. and some Russians, but I could paint all the World War II stuff in the world, but you guys are never going to see the amount of videos. I'm not going to use them as much as I am DBA, so it's just better just to stick to DBA, you know. So, anywho, that is that. All right, so where are we at? We have a bow to do. All right, let's get a bow type color. I don't want to use that same lazy color I've been using for everything else, so let's go pull this guy out. I had to place an order with Museum Miniatures after one of your painting videos a few days ago, and I don't really paint much anymore. What did you order? Painting is a technique rather than a skill. It's trial and error at first. It's painting experience, it's patience, and it's no an experience is knowing when you're on the wrong track so you can change tack so that you don't spend another 2 hours on a lost cause. That's, I think, the big advantage I have. I've done this so much that I can start painting something and go, okay, if I keep going down this route, I'm not going to be happy with the results. This is not what I want to achieve. And you don't know that until you've done it so many times. And it's patience too. I can't just dip these guys and get this kind of result. you know. Now, with that said, it doesn't really matter. I've had the ugliest army I ever used, I borrowed from somebody, and they were unstoppable. I borrowed some Athenians from Rich Goss, won a tournament with them. They didn't even have a commander. I had to take like a piece of masking tape and like tape it around the guy's head just so I could tell which one of the stands were the command stand. They were absolutely ugly. So, German knights, some hordes, some artillery. Oh yeah, I like that stuff by them. Museum is just quirky. You know, some of their figures are small, some of their figures are big, some of them have Habsburg chins. You guys should know what that means. But that's just how they are. And they're okay. You know, when I used to do 20s, the manufacturer I really disliked that people were big fans of was Britannia. So Britannia has big head, short legs, and everybody has the same face. So it didn't matter whether you were a Russian, you were a German, you were a Brit, American, it always had the same kind of like a frowny scowl. Now, I liked the style they were sculpted in. I just didn't like the fact that everybody had a very prominent face and it was right there. Like, for instance, minifigs. Minifigs faces are kind of not at the forefront of the look of the figure. So if you have a whole bunch of them, none of them have really strong facial features that make you look, oh, look, it's Paul there. Oh, and there's Paul again there as well. And you know what I mean? They're kind of take a, that's not the focal point of the figure. So I don't mind figures that have very distinct faces, but then you need a variety of faces, or it looks like, you know, you have a clone army and they clone someone who was not a prime example of maybe somebody who you would wanted, you know? So I don't know. Maybe that makes sense what I'm saying, but Britannia, FAA has the same problem in 20 millimeter. They all have the same high cheekbone. They make a set, okay? The FAA, I don't know if they still do. They made a set in 20 millimeter World War II for Cross of Iron. You know, for the movie Cross of Iron with Coburn and well, there's a million people in that movie, but Coburn, Maximilian Schell, James Mason, Warner. Who else is in it? You guys would know. You know what movie? The one from '77. Okay, the only like Eastern Front movie that it was. So the one with the catchy theme song at the beginning. They make a 5 or 6 man set for that. So you got a guy that's supposed to be a Steiner. You got a guy that's supposed to be the sniper, the one guy that was always dirty. I don't remember what he was, but he was a nasty. He's one of those guys that look like almost like a mechanic or whatever. So they had like 4 or 5 different figures in that set, but every single one of them had the same face. So it kind of defeated the purpose, you know. But yeah, do I have that set? I may have bought it somewhere. But I don't like my FAA figures, so oh well. Right, back to doing the. I haven't seen that movie in a long time. I used to really like that movie because it was the Eastern Front. Like that's the only thing that was available to me as a kid. And of course, I only caught it when it was played on TV, so I wasn't even aware that there was a BJ scene, right? I think so, where the one of the German guys goes into a house and decides to have his way with someone, and they paid him back. They didn't show that on TV. Not in the 1980s. Interesting thing I didn't know is if I get these details wrong, I apologize. Not my intent to deceive people, but James Coburn was not James Coburn. James Mason was in all kinds of war movies. He played Rommel. He played in Cross of Iron. All kinds of war movies, and he was like, I don't think, I think he abstained from going into World War II. He was like a pacifist, which is okay, you know, but be in war movies. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. Yeah, he's one of those actors I grew up with watching those kind of movies. Him and who's the other guy that could pull off a mustache? It's difficult for people to pull off a mustache. Oh man, I'm getting really bad at this. Well, it's stuff I don't think about on a daily basis, so of course I don't remember who the hell he is. The British guy in Guns and Navarone, who was a World War II vet. I like him. He's not around anymore, but that doesn't really narrow it down. That seems to be more and more the case. But yeah, the quintessential Brit, at least for those of us on this side of the pond. Could I get away with doing this color? I don't think I can. It's too close to the core color, but this is a good core color for the main. So we'll leave that there. But I need something a little bit lighter than that. Maybe this, you know what? We're going to get crazy. You ready to get crazy with me? Let's get crazy. Sometimes you get a wild hair up your ass and you can't do anything other than comb it. This is the weirdest color of all. Look at its color, okay? And even though it's on camera, and the camera sometimes changes the color of things, it looks like French blue to me too, okay? Just a mid-range French blue. Now look at the color that I have painted on the top. Ready? Wow. It looks a lot grayer than that. This is like the biggest misnomer. We'll put that guy. I hate that color. It always shows up. It's so like drab. I've used it. I just hate that color. There you go. Let's use this. And it no longer says what color it is or the code. That's okay. There's so much of this in here, I will never have to rebuy this color. Again, it looks really bright like this, but it's very gray to me. The camera doesn't exactly show the video camera doesn't exactly show the David Niven. There we go. Yeah, that's the guys I grew up with, you know. So Guns and Navarone, man, I watched that a lot as a kid. Okay, so here we have our blue. We're going to get some black, mix it in. We're going to paint the bow case. And we're going to put some detail on the bow case, even though it's totally flat. There's no detail on this thing at all. Okay. Let's move these Brits out of the way. I don't want to get any drippage of water with anything on them as well. So. All right. We've got this completely colored, just almost like a gray blue color. So let's start adding some detail. All right. So how are we going to do that? Well, let's just add it straight from here and see what happens. Yeah, I paint so thin. The other advantage is if I don't like how it turns out, it's not like I'm applying the paint so thickly that I wouldn't be able to fix it. Man, that just does not work. That just does not work. Let's try that because it's blocking too much of the light. Let's try this. All right, we're going to go and paint the rim of this. Don't have to do something really extravagant. You're just going to put something, you know, there's lots of bow cases that were pretty colorful. It's, you know, and then let's take some white. We need to go to the small. We need to go to the brush that's a little bit more controlling. Better control on this brush. I don't know how this is going to turn out. I'm just kind of pulling things out of my nether regions here. Okay. And then we're going to see what I've done so far. Just almost done like a dotted line. So let's add a little bit more white and bring that up a little bit more so it pops. It is small, so just add some kind of detail to it so there's something there instead of this. Just something. A little something, something. Okay. Right. Painted a gray horse this morning using Tester's Battleship Gray. No idea how old the paint was, but the price on the lid was 15 cents. Wow. It was still got our 20 years. Yeah. Back from the bike ride. Excellent. You live in Sweden, if I remember correctly. The 59 degrees, yeah. That's good bike weather. Even 49. I used to ride a bike many years ago for transportation, so I'm fine never riding a bike again. I got my fill of that. All right, we've got bracers to do, and we have an undershirt. We're going to go ahead and do an undershirt similar in color that we did a little bit of the pants, so almost like an off-white. So we'll go ahead and do that. And we should be able to use this. Now, let's go over to this side. I wish this painting palette was like a long strip, but it's not. I know I should design one. No, I got enough on my plate. Make sure I don't have any notifications on here. I don't. Okay, cool. I know some people run around with a bunch of notifications on their phone. Like I can't have those things on there. I need to take care of them. Let's do this and this. Okay. All right. We're just going to paint. Now he's going to have some kind of, I think he's got bracers on. Maybe he doesn't. Oh, excellent. He doesn't. Okay, cool. Great. I don't like those bracers because it just ends up making everybody kind of look the same. I'd rather have a shirt here that can tie into the other stuff. I kind of ignored this because I thought that he had bracers like some of the other figures, but okay. And let's get in here. Okay. All right, let's bring it up. Yeah, I don't think any of this is difficult. It just takes a while. But it's kind of a no-brainer, but it just takes a while. No-brainer for me. I've done it so many damn times that it's pretty mindless. And for the last little bit of highlight, if you're painting white, you can't start off with white because you can't lighten white any more than white is already. So you got to dumb it down. You got to darken it up a little bit more, and then be able to use pure white as the final color. Okay. You got that there. All right. We're good with the red. We need to get the saddle, which is deep in the recesses there. No big deal. We're going to switch this. It's a little too close to me to breathe. I'll show you guys when I'm done. There we go. Oof. Everybody's late waking up today. Not you guys, just the folks here at home. Let's, I have it handy here. Let's go ahead and do the stirrups. Let's go ahead and do the stirrups. Pretty much standard fare on all my guys. I use the same stirrup type color. Almost like the... Where did it go? I just mixed it up. Oh, it's here. All right, let's do the back of the saddle and the front of the saddle, which I probably shouldn't have left till this point, but it's not very exciting. And I can get in there and get where I need to go. I'll use this color for that. Got to do something a little different tomorrow on the filming. I'm not sure what it is, but it's going to be a little different. Mitch doesn't even know about it yet. And he won't, because he doesn't watch this show, because he doesn't paint. He can be surprised too. All right, that's about it. We need to do the rim on the shield. I think we're going to go silver on that one, or metallic, metal. Oh, I have Vallejo shield colors and stuff like that. And as much as I like Vallejo paint, I think the Games Workshop paint is much better for metallics than the Vallejo. Other than this bronze color that is just superb. So let's come over here to this corner. And you're going to have to leave a little bit of black in between the decal and the end, because otherwise the capillary action will pull that paint underneath the decal, and you'll have a different kind of an issue, and it won't be a good one. So you kind of need to be mindful of that. Okay, and let's make sure that this goes around the edge a little bit. And the back of the shield's going to be brown. So this is just to kind of give a little bit of a... Where'd my black go? Here it is, over here. right. Oh, I forgot the strap underneath the horse, so the guy doesn't fall off. It's on there. All right, no big deal. We used white on that one. And the reins, I don't think I'm going to do the same method that I do with the other stuff, which is usually just to use a different variant of the same color that I do the trappings in. Let's start with, let's make it a little bit different. Let's add like this. And the same on this side, and that's going to be tricky. Okay. And let's take that and highlight it a little bit. Okay, so all we have left on this guy now to do, and I'll bring him up close here, is the hooves. We said we are going to put socks on this horse, and the mane. So. And the shield looks, in my opinion, horrible right now. It will look fine once it gets coated and everything. Yeah, that little bit that we added to that bow case, I think, kicked it up a little notch, you know? Yeah. So, there's some of the shield showing there on that side. We'll leave that black. It's really dark anyways. So. I will come back and do the mane and the tail. We'll leave him here for your viewing. And I need to check up on somebody and make sure they don't need to get up at a certain time. Be right back. check's done. And right, onto the mane and tail. And then we can say goodbye to this Yuri looking dude. Okay. Right. So we have this color that we had here that we pulled it out prematurely over here. Let's go ahead and cover this guy. Let's make us a darker version of this. A little bit more. And then we're going to paint it all in that color. And you want to be careful doing this, not because I can't fix it, but it's a waste of time to fix things. Just do it right the first time. You could either spend time fixing something or be working on the next figure. So not a big incentive for me to do it sloppy and have to come back and fix it. All right, so let's come back up with a little bit of this. Now, this is not the same core color, this one, that the rest of the horse is, but still it's looking pretty similar. But that is okay, because if you look in the natural world, that happens all the time. You have like a horse that has almost exact same color mane as, it's a lot more common than you would think, actually. Right, let's lighten up with, let's not use white because we lightened the rest of this horse with white. Let's use, this. So you need to use more than that. Actually thought about spraying these guys and sealing the ones I've done so far, but I opted against that. Just because I wanted to show you guys how these shields look better, but I decided not to do that. Now we will add a tiny little bit of white. Well, not that tiny. I do need to get some white over here. Now, I believe this was Monster Brown that I used, which is, I believe it's this one here. Let's see, for the core color. So what we're going to do is when I do the socks, I want to use some of this color as well, but I want to use a darker version of it. So I'm going to mix up a darker version of this color, like this, okay? And I'm going to add white to that. So you've got this gray-like color here, and that's what we're going to start the bottom color of the socks in, okay? I don't know, just something I started doing, and I like how it turned out, so there you have it. If you like how something looks, then hey, that's good enough reason to do it that way. If you don't like how something looks, then don't do it that way. As my favorite example, when you're doing Commonwealth vehicles in Northwest Europe in 1944, I am not putting American stars on the roof. I'm just not going to. I know that they did them for Allied. I just don't think it looks right. So, and not every vehicle had them. So there's my out. You know, my Commonwealth vehicles will not have U.S. stars on their roof. It doesn't look right. It looks, they should be proud of their own markings. Don't care if they did that in real life. I'll show you what we're looking at with this bottom color. And I could have done some socks in one and not the other, but you could actually have a horse that has one sock on one leg. It won't look right. You'd be like, oh, you missed all three, but go look at the natural world, you know. So that's your base color of the white on the socks. So now we just add more white to it. And I kind of paint this a little bit impressionistic. So I'm okay if some places still show the bottom because it is, I'm not going to say fur-like, but it is it can vary. It's not like it's just stark white. So okay, and where is our hoof color that I like to use? Stoned gray. There it is. Next guy I'm going to paint is definitely going to have an almond-shaped shield, just to mix it up a little bit. Okay, and where's the black? I'm actually probably going to take a break after this guy. You gotta move around some. Usually doing this for a long period of time, what gets tiring is sitting in the chair. It's nothing else. It's not my back. It's not my painting hand. It's certainly not my vision. It's actually really easy on the eyes since you're always looking at stuff that's the same distance away. It's just, it's sitting on your ass that's uncomfortable. All right, and let's use more of this. Where were we here? Okay, there you have it. I think we can call this guy done. How you guys take a look. There you go. Another one down. So what's that leave? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 more. Okay. Well, thanks for stopping by, folks, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And we will catch you guys next time. Happy painting. Bye bye.